The God of justice stopped a farmer to ask for directions. I need you to sit with that sentence for a moment. Not because it is complicated. The words themselves are almost childishly simple. But because every assumption embedded in it is a crack in the architecture of reality. Gods do not ask. Gods do not stop. Gods do not need directions. And yet a farmer outside Burdusk, a man who had spent that morning shoveling manure and worrying about the price of grain, was stopped on the tradeway by a blind man in scarred armor, carrying a flawless silver sword. And that blind man asked, with genuine uncertainty in his voice, which road led to Waterdeep. The farmer did not recognize him. That is important. He gave directions the way you give directions to any traveler. Left at the Old Oak, follow the river until the bridge. You cannot miss it. Tyre thanked him, not with a divine blessing, not with a miracle, with words. "Thank you," the God of justice said, and then he continued walking, his boots buried in mud to the ankles. And the farmer watched him go, and felt, he later told the courier, something he could not name. The report came from the tradeway, and at first I dismissed it. Travelers embellish. Merchants exaggerate. A farmer who spends his life watching crops grow will turn any unusual encounter into a legend by the time he reaches the next tavern. I set the report aside and expected it to dissolve under scrutiny the way most roadside miracles do. Then 4 more accounts arrived. Different villages, different witnesses, different days. A blacksmith in Corm Orp, a ferryman at the winding water crossing, a widow who sold bread from a cart outside Scornubel, a child who was supposed to be gathering firewood and instead followed the stranger for 2 miles before losing sight of him at a bend in the road. Everyone described the same blind man, carrying a sword that seemed to know where it was going, even when its owner did not. They said his armor was scarred by rain instead of battle. Dust clung to his cloak like any weary pilgrim's. When wagons passed, heavy merchant wagons, loaded with goods and driven by teamsters, who did not slow down for anyone, he stepped aside without complaint. No thunder answered his footsteps. No choir announced his presence. A god was walking across Faerun, and the most remarkable thing about the experience, according to every witness, was how unremarkable it felt. One stable-keeper offered him fresh water from the well. Another shared coarse bread still warm from the oven. "The kind you eat because you are hungry, not because you want to," she specified, as though she needed me to understand that this was not a sacred offering, but a simple kindness between travelers. Neither recognized Tyr until he thanked them. And the way he thanked them, with a voice that one witness described as echoing inside the heart rather than the ear, was the moment they understood. The widow who sold bread wrote something that I have not been able to stop thinking about. He ate the bread slowly, not like a god tasting mortal food for the first time, like a man who had been walking for days and was genuinely hungry. He closed his eyes when he chewed. His hand shook slightly. I have seen that shake before, in soldiers who have marched too far and eaten too little. Whatever he was before Ao cast him down, he is not that now. Now he is a tired man with sore feet and a sword that weighs more than it should. The strangest testimony came from the child, the one who had followed the stranger for 2 miles. She was 8 years old. Her name is recorded here as Muriel, though she asked me not to include her village. She caught up to Tyr at a fork in the road and asked him, with the directness that only children possess, why a god needed directions if he could see everything. Tyr smiled. I am reconstructing this from her description, but the courier who brought her testimony swore that when he asked her to repeat this part, she closed her eyes before speaking, as though the memory needed to be seen rather than recited. He smiled, she said, the way my grandfather smiles when I ask a question he has been waiting his whole life to answer. Justice knows the destination, Tyr said, but feet must still find the road. That sentence has troubled me for days, not because it is profound, though it is profound, but because of what it implies about the nature of the punishment. Io did not merely strip the gods of their power, he stripped them of their certainty. Justice still knows where it needs to go, but the feet that carry it are mortal feet now. They get tired. They take wrong turns. They need directions from farmers who do not recognize them. I have now documented miracles that failed, temples that fell silent, and gods wandering forgotten roads with mud on their boots and hunger in their bellies. I have recorded Maestra's death on the celestial stair. I have catalogued the chaos of wild magic and the bisub, the terror of unanswered prayers. Yet nothing in all the pages I have filled since this chronicle began has disturbed me more than the image of the Lord of Justice waiting patiently at a fork in the road, hoping a farmer will point him in the right direction. Because if Tyr can be lost, then no one is found. If Tyr can be uncertain, then no one is certain. If the God of justice himself must ask for directions, then what hope do the rest of us have of knowing which road leads where we need to go? The child, Muriel, asked one more question before she lost sight of him. Will you come back? Tyr did not turn around. She says he kept walking, but his voice reached her clearly, as though the distance between them had momentarily stopped existing. When the road ends, he said, and then the bend in the road took him, and she was alone, and the forest was just a forest again. If Tyr himself can lose the road, then no corner of Faerun remains untouched by this punishment. But there is another implication, one I have been avoiding because it frightens me more. If Tyr is walking toward Waterdeep, what is waiting for him there? And next week, I will open the darkest file yet, because no witness wishes to describe the god called Mirkul, and those who have tried have left their sentences unfinished.
The Impossible Archive is open. New episodes every week. Subscribe before the next entry disappears.